So really what's important now to arable farmers considering growing barley, what's important? Well, the key thing is the crop going to be profitable. Different things affect that. The yield's very important, having a good yield. Quality, get the quality right, then it can supply the markets that maybe pay the best. But really importantly is the price. What price is the farmer going to receive for his barley? So I'm going to look at some of the things that affect that, because that's very important to profitability. So the first thing is the world market. That's the main driver underlying all the prices, and that's set by weather events and demand all over the world. Now barley's a relatively small crop, just 7% of the world crop, but it's affected by whatever happens to the American or the European grain crops. So that's very important. At the moment, world's got some good stock levels, so it's not obvious that the world market necessarily will boost prices, but those stocks are set to come down this year, which is the first time in 5 years. Not by a huge amount, but that's possibly potentially positive for the price in the longer run. Coming closer to home, once we get to the UK, there's a very important factor, which is currency. So the pound, how the pound relates to the euro and the dollar, that has a huge effect on our price. It's completely out of the hands of the farmer, of course, and it's been affected by a lot of things. As we know recently, things like Brexit have created a lot of uncertainty. It's tended to help the farmer a little bit recently with the pound being weak, but where that goes is really very unknown. So really in terms of the local markets, we can sort of home in on a few things. So the feed market, that's very important, more than half the crop in Scotland. That's really driven by the number of animals, livestock numbers, profitability of livestock production. And again, the prospects for that are uncertain as we look at Brexit and possible changes to tariffs and support for agriculture. Very hard to know where that's going, but it's very important for our farmers that they keep the feed markets open for the barley. Of course, the other very important local market is whisky. And it's a great strength in Scotland to have such a large, valuable market on our doorstep. We don't have to worry about sort of trade barriers and things like that. We can supply local maltings and local distilleries. So that's really positive. Now, of course, the whisky sector could well be affected by some of the issues around Brexit. We're not sure yet. The indications are it's perhaps one of the less vulnerable of the sectors, which is positive, I think, for the future. And there's many things going for whisky. You know, it's globally in demand. It's a growing market. It's supplying something unique onto the world market, and it's been very successful. And we think demand is going to pick up for whisky in the future. The good thing is, Scottish conditions, Scottish farmers are very good at growing what the type of grain that the whisky sector requires. That low nitrogen barley, it's perfect for malting, and we're in a good position to keep supplying that market. I think a few things probably needing to help that. Varieties, which some of our colleagues will probably expect to talk about quite soon. We do need some good varieties to improve yields and allow the farmer to maintain profitability. The farmers are keen to supply the whisky sector, but I think really are quite keen to get longer term supply agreements in place. You know, and that sort of long-term trust is what the farmers are looking for, and I think generally speaking the whisky industry are keen to engage with the farmer. And if we can get these things right, then I think for the future that's very positive, and hopefully we can maintain, you know, a good share of Scottish barley in that very important Scottish whisky.